Welcome to another edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report. I'm Doug Weischadle here with Dave Weischadle. We're here to give you a whip-around look at some of the latest news coming out of the sports betting industry. Press releases, info at turnpikesportsradio.com. Keep them coming in. If you're watching us on TV, you can see us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. We're even on our show's website, turnpikesports.us. Every Monday morning, you'll see a new version of the book report up on the homepage. If you're listening to us on audio, we've got Amazon Music, Samsung Podcast, as well as Pandora Podcast. You can catch us there as well. This week, in our state and national reports, we're going to be talking about a couple September state records that have been set.
Okay.
By a couple of states we really don't talk about too much either.
Okay.
Us personally.
Okay. Well, yeah, you know.
Yes.
I'm assuming New York is not one of them then.
No record, no.
Okay, no record.
Deals, we've got a pair of BetMGM deals. We've got a pair of Sportradar deals. As a matter of fact, we have a deal that involves Sportradar and BetMGM.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be 3 or 4 deals. One is combined with the two topics there.
BetMGM's busy, huh?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Industry updates. We've got a big fine being handed down by Maine regulators. We've got East Coast Gaming Conference news. East Coast Gaming Congress news, I apologize. We've got a new NHL product and a couple other launches to talk about as well. And then we're going to round out the show with our legislative update section with updates from North Carolina and Mississippi. Everyone is still wondering what's going on in Florida. That's moving
Who
ahead
knows?
slowly.
Yeah.
We're going to start up with our state and national reports right after this.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, watch this urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by hiring 87,000 new agents to garnish your paycheck and put liens on homes and businesses. They can even seize your bank account. The IRS calls it enforced compliance, and now they have the manpower to get you. Penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily. So call One Stop Tax Relief Shop and get the IRS off your back. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. And no other tax shop gets you more or faster approvals. One Stop Tax Relief has resolved thousands of cases since 2014 and saved clients millions of dollars. Call now for a free consultation. Connect with tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Call 800-605-0688. 800-605-0688.
One Stop Tax Relief Shop.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Book Report. Starting off for our state and national reports, a lot of these states are reporting their September sports betting numbers, and we're seeing some records being set by some of the different states around the country. We've got Louisiana, Arkansas, even South Dakota talking about regional state records for themselves.
Good.
September sports betting report coming out of Louisiana. Louisiana became the 15th state to pass $4 billion in total handle, $4.233 billion to be sort of exact. The state also reported a record mobile handle for the month of September. We've got a record gross gaming revenue for the month of September and a record adjusted gaming revenue in September.
Louisiana is an interesting state because not the entire state. Sports betting isn't legal in the entire state. It's in certain, they call them parishes,
Yes.
but in other places they're considered counties. So it's a very interesting state.
Yes.
That's when the geolocation really comes into play, because you could be driving on a road and all of a sudden you're in a area where sports betting isn't legal and you're in the same state.
Over in Arkansas, we have a record there. We have a September sports betting handle record for the month for the state of Arkansas, and they also recorded its second $4 million revenue all time. At least $4 million. It was 4.3 million in terms of revenue for that. The state also reported that its year-to-date handle passed $250 million, and Bet Saracen reported a record state mobile revenue of $2.5 million.
Wow. Okay.
So some records set in
Yeah,
September in
boy.
Arkansas.
Wonder if that's all like college football. I wonder what that is.
That could be pretty much anything and everything with
Okay.
regards to some of these records. Over in South Dakota, September sports betting report, the state of South Dakota reported a record monthly handle and the state's fourth month of at least $150,000 in sports betting revenue. Remember, South Dakota is only in
Deadwood, yeah.
which is kind of interesting. That's one
Talk
of those
about an
really
interesting state. I just said Louisiana was interesting. South Dakota is really interesting. It's only in Deadwood.
And since you mentioned college football, the state of South Dakota recorded a record $324,000 in college football handle.
See, so I bet you a
Record
good chunk
handles
of that
everywhere.
was
Yes.
college football.
Over in Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear reported that nearly $250 million in sports betting wagers had been made in the state since sports betting began last month. $15.7 million in retail, $232.3 million in online sports betting in the state since its launch. Recent launch, very recent launch, as a
Yeah,
matter of
what,
fact.
a month, 2 months?
Something like that, yes.
I don't even know.
New Hampshire Lottery reported their September numbers. The state's 3 retail and 1 online sportsbook took home $6.17 million in September. That's up almost 85% from the previous month.
When you say,
Even though they're down
Yeah.
year over year.
well, when you say New Hampshire sports betting, you're really talking about DraftKings.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Well, it's interesting because
And I'm not joking. DraftKings is the only sports book
Eh,
licensed. I
Yeah,
think,
no,
in
no,
New
that's
Hampshire.
it. But it's interesting the fact that everyone's pointing out these numbers regarding the handle in New Hampshire, and they're comparing it because they're saying this is the Massachusetts effect. New Hampshire handle is down 16% year over
Well,
year.
sure, yeah. I mean, look,
So-
before sports betting started in Massachusetts, everyone was saying, that they just go across the border
Yeah.
to New Hampshire, or if in your western half of the state, you go across the border to New York, or if you're in the southern part, you go south to
Yes.
either Rhode Island or Connecticut.
It's
But
all
now-
around.
Yeah, yeah. So what now that Massachusetts has sports betting, there's no need to travel.
And online books in New Hampshire saw their revenue jump from $3 million to almost $5.5 million.
Okay.
So that's a good jump for the online books there,
Yeah.
or the online book, I should say.
Yes.
Over in New York, we've got the week ending October 22nd. The state reported second highest weekly handle ever for the
Wow.
mobile industry. The record was $468 million, which was set about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks before this, the week ending October 1st.
Yeah.
So about 3 weeks before that. Also, the week ending October 22nd was the second straight week of at least $400 million in weekly handle. They had 1 week where it went down under. Otherwise, they would have had a longer streak.
Yeah, I know. The numbers coming out of New
Yes.
York are incredible. So.
Third straight weekly handle, third straight weekly revenue of at least $30 million.
Okay.
And the fiscal year-to-date revenue passed $900 million. Just incredible revenue numbers.
Just nuts.
DraftKings, year-to-date handle, fiscal year-to-date handle, I should say, because there is a difference. We're not talking January 1st to now. We're talking April 4th
Yeah, that's the
to now.
fiscal
That's the
year.
fiscal year. $3.5 billion in handle for DraftKings in this fiscal year so far. Caesars fiscal year-to-date handle also passed $1 billion.
Okay.
So we're starting to see some massive numbers from the smaller. I can't believe I'm saying this, from the smaller books outside of DraftKings and FanDuel.
Yeah, other than DraftKings, we're seeing some good stuff.
Caesars is, I guess, since their market share is only 6 to 8% of the market there. I mean, I guess you can say they're technically one of the smaller books, but I don't want to call them that. I guess everywhere else they wouldn't be a smaller book.
I sit here and I try to figure out the advertising and see who's doing well. And the problem is in New Jersey, or the section of New Jersey we're getting New Jersey commercials, Pennsylvania commercials, and New York commercials. So I'm not sure which ones are advertising where. So it's when you're casually watching television, you got to really figure out which ABC you're watching, because right here we have 2 ABCs and 2 CBSs and 2 Foxes and 2 NBCs. So I don't know where some of these commercials are coming from.
Well, that's it for the state and national reports this week. Let's head on over to some deals. As I said at the top of the show, we've got a couple BetMGM deals to talk about, a couple Sportradar deals, and a Sportradar BetMGM deal. all rolled into one here.
Okay.
We're going to start off with BetMGM announcing the renewal of its strategic partnership agreement with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, that was big news.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones that was ever announced for the NBA,
Yeah,
BetMGM and the Sixers. BetMGM will continue as an official sports betting partner of the team. The multi-year extension includes the addition of VIP fan experiences and watch parties,
Oh, okay.
in-market odds boosts, increased courtside signage at the Wells Fargo Center for people who are unfamiliar
Yes.
with the home arena of the Sixers. They're going to be creating some more fan amenities, including courtside access to pregame shoot-arounds,
Oh, okay.
luxury seating for some games.
I like that.
BetMGM customers in Pennsylvania and New Jersey will exclusively have access to a 50% live odd boost token during Sixers games.
Okay.
That's a nice touch.
Yes, very nice.
And like I said, BetMGM signage will be featured throughout the arena. You got grandstand, video board, courtside LEDs. BetMGM content will be all over 76ers social media platforms and email campaigns. And as part of the deal, Borgata, which is an MGM property, Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa in Atlantic City will continue as the official away game host of the Sixers and will host VIP watch parties.
Oh, wow, nice.
Which will feature alumni from the Sixers,
Okay, good.
merchandise giveaways, and a whole bunch more.
Nice.
Speaking of the NBA, we have Sportradar announced that it was expanding its partnership with BetMGM
Okay.
to provide access to products and services that include NBA optical tracking data. Now, what's so unusual about this deal? This optical tracking data that Sportradar uses was only available to broadcasters and the teams.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Now these products will be available to everybody through BetMGM. They're going to be able to, and BetMGM is going to be able to create new player prop markets, new in-play betting markets, new
Wow.
same-game parlay markets.
You know, it's interesting. You said that technology was the broadcasters, but also the team. I'm wondering, how did the team use them? How did that benefit the team when they're doing their film study and things like that? That's very interesting that the team is using this data.
Not just film study, but also when they're on the sidelines, you see a lot of them having the NBA, the tablets now.
Yeah.
So some of these guys are using the data during the game.
Yeah, I wonder how they use that. I mean,
If they see a certain setup by the defense,
I
they
guess
see a
so,
certain
yeah.
breakaway, see exactly where everyone goes.
interesting.
You know, the
Yeah.
optical data, the optical tracking data is an incredible step forward.
Yeah,
for a lot
I
of this
never
stuff.
thought of it as a tool for a team to help in their preparation and their adjustments. So that's an interesting thing that you brought up.
Last deal of the day here, we have Sportradar announcing a 3-year partnership with Derby Wheel, which is a new global concept from professional Keirin.
Who?
Keirin. I knew you were going to ask that. I looked it up.
I don't know what that is.
It's the Japanese cycling tournament.
Oh, okay.
Not only is it an Olympic sport,
Now, is it in an indoor? I've seen the cycling indoor
the
on
indoor
that big
one.
track.
That's
kind
it.
Okay.
It's
What's
an
it called? Or
Keirin.
okay.
It's spelled Keirin, but it's pronounced Keirin.
All right.
It's an Olympic sport. What happens
That's
is
probably where I've seen it.
it's a brakeless
Okay.
fixed gear bicycle that they use.
Right.
They all line up. They draw for position. They get behind a motorcycle or some kind of electric bike that takes them around the track a couple times until they hit 50 miles an hour.
Wow.
And then they're let go, and they
whoa.
go and race until they win.
How do they stop? I mean, they just coast to a
They
stop.
coast to a stop.
From 50 miles an
Yep.
hour, they coast to a stop. Oh my God.
Well, you also got to remember they're going around a track, so they're going to lose momentum as they go around.
I guess, but
It's not
still.
uphill, downhill. It's just around
But
and
from
around.
what I remember, I don't think the track was flat. I mean,
They're
it was
curved,
curved
yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean,
Well, that's
slowing
where the
down
skill comes.
on one of the curves is kind of tough.
Well,
you know?
that's where the skill comes in for this,
I
and
guess.
it's also one of the only 5 sports you can bet on in Japan, according to the press release.
Okay.
Uh,
See, now I'm intrigued. Now
Yes.
I really want to watch this just for them stopping. I want to see how that works.
well, Sportradar will be employing its integrity services
Okay.
to allow this sport or
All
this
right.
new version of the sport. I don't know exactly what the difference is between what they're creating versus the historic Keirin, if you want to call it
Okay.
that. But they will be doing betting monitoring. They will be doing integrity monitoring. They will be doing data all this stuff for bringing the sport to, I guess, a new level in terms of popularity.
Great. Okay.
That's it for the deals. We're going to talk industry updates right after this.
Every 40 seconds, a kid is reported missing. Find the Children provides educational material that teaches your kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs are very successful in bringing kids back home to their family. You can help protect our kids and bring the missing kids home safe by donating your unwanted car, truck, SUV, or van, running or not. We guarantee you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast free pickup, usually within 24 hours. Over 2,000 kids are reported missing every day. Call now to donate your vehicle. Donate now to bring these kids home safe.
Call 800-934-2260. 800-934-2260. 800-934-2260.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Book Report. Industry updates. The East Coast Gaming Congress, which will be held in April of 2024 coming up, they will be honoring David Rebuck, who is the chairman of the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement, with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Great. Good.
Mr. Rebuck, David, we've actually met him several times. We've had him on the shows.
Yeah.
He's helmed the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement since 2011.
And has done a great job.
Extremely intelligent man.
Yep.
One of the best guys out there in the industry. A little perspective, the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board has had 6 chairs during this time.
Wow. Okay.
So it's kind of interesting, and 4 since 2011. So they've been having better luck, I guess, is what you can say.
Okay.
As they move along, the Nevada Gaming Control Board has had 6 chairs since 2011. So he's been the guy at the helm for the longest time in the big states,
and at a very important time in New Jersey.
Yes.
When we started sports betting. It went to a new gambling in this state, went to a new level, and he's done a great job with the online sports betting, the retail sports betting, and it just absolutely amazing.
Not only
job.
that, the online casinos, fantasy, all that stuff.
Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Yes.
The National Hockey League, in collaboration with Sportradar, here we are with Sportradar again, unveiled a new advanced statistics section on its website called NHL Edge. Now, this is another set of data points that was only available to teams and broadcasters. You're going to have puck and player tracking systems that do maximum skating speed,
Okay.
skating distance,
All right.
shot speed, and shot and save location data. This is all additional data that will be available to the public.
All right. It's great that you have this information, but as a sports bettor or a person who plays fantasy sports, I guess you got to learn how to use it, how to utilize this, and how this mixes in with your system or your algorithm or whatever you use to
Your
pick
betting
these
structure,
games.
your betting structures.
It's very interesting.
Over in New Jersey, Profit Exchange announced it will be the first operator to use GeoComply's Core for Authentication product, CFA, following approval from the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement. It's an alternative way to authenticate the user in terms of who they are, where they're located.
Okay.
So it's an additional. It's more. It gives you more data points to actually do something quicker in terms of authentication for customers.
Good.
Over in Ohio, we have the Ohio Casino Control Commission approving sports betting markets on the NBA All Defensive Team and the NBA All Rookie Team.
It's interesting they didn't have that already. I'm surprised.
It's one of the few states that didn't touch that area of.
It
took them a while to approve the All-Star.
It's fascinating to see the menus, the betting menus of these different states. I hear a lot of people, a lot of bettors in Nevada saying, that the menu isn't that great, and I know a lot of sports bettors, either travel to Arizona or Colorado when they're in Nevada because they claim that the menu is better there, the selections are better there for sports betting. So, no, it's interesting to see the variations of what you can bet on in the different states.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting with that. But, regarding Nevada, the Nevada retail books offer a lot more in terms of betting menu than the online books in Nevada.
Nevada puts a premium of people getting through those doors. They want people through those doors. Number one. Number two, Nevada, and especially Las Vegas, is a tourist center.
Or a big event
I know
location.
a lot of people live there. It's an event location. A lot of people travel to go there. Yeah. And I guess some people do this. I don't do this. If I'm traveling to a place, I don't download the app.
No.
I don't download a Nevada app. I go to the sports book. Retail sports betting in Nevada is much more important.
Yes.
Than it's the same as mobile sports betting in New Jersey. Mobile sports betting in New Jersey is king. In Nevada, retail sports betting is king.
It's also like the home of the Super Bowl prop bets and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, every time the Super Bowl rolls around, go to Caesars Sportsbook. They put out a prop bet menu like nobody's business. It's something like 40, 50 pages long. But check that out at some point. Micro betting supplier SimpleBet has announced they will be offering new NBA markets for the regular season, such as first field goal scorer, the exact name of the person doing the first field goal scorer. I'm surprised they didn't have that before. Team first 3-point scorer.
Okay.
And they're going to have a whole bunch of different markets in addition to those.
Right.
Their partners include DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, and Hard Rock Bet. So look for some additional individual player prop markets coming from SimpleBet on those platforms.
I can't wait.
Last story for the industry updates. We've got some news for fantasy sports operators, especially one up in Maine, Underdog Fantasy. Maine regulators have levied almost a $400,000 fine against Underdog Fantasy for the Pick'em contest product that they offer in the state, which is technically illegal.
So, I'm surprised they don't get a warning first. I mean, Maine is relatively. They don't even have sports
The Gaming
betting
Commission
yet,
was
so
notified in late May, and they investigated.
Okay.
So it took them this long to hand down the fine.
I'm curious to see how long Underdog was operating in the state before the state says, "Hey, you can't do this."
At least until May. At least since May, they also received a formal complaint from the regulators in July. That they were doing something that they shouldn't be doing. There's still time to appeal this.
I mean, there's if you find out about it, you should probably send them a note to their attorney or to their say, you know what, we're looking into this, and please contact us. And
they were given the warning, formal complaint from the state about what they were doing.
All right,
no response.
Huh? Well, I don't. They have to communicate better with these daily fantasy.
Well, the operators have to communicate better with the commissions too.
Well, it probably
goes both ways.
Yeah.
According to when you break this down, you've got $391,850 regarding $50 fine for 7,837 unique customers in Maine who took part in these contests.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Underdog.
Well,
had-
that's going to be a big issue.
Yeah.
These prop type style daily fantasy. So,
Yes. Regarding the Underdog, they made $1.4 million in revenue in the state of Maine.
good.
So it's 28% of the company's gross gaming revenue that they got fined.
Oh,
So,
okay.
That's one of those things where, it's kind of interesting that they have not responded yet. But they do have 30 days to appeal
Okay.
from when this was issued.
Well, I hope they appeal. Let's see you got to figure out this issue
Yeah.
because it's a big issue around the country.
That's it for industry updates. Let's finish up with our legislative roundup. We're going to finish up the show with legislative updates from both North Carolina and Mississippi. North Carolina, they had to clarify some of their rules regarding the sports betting operator licenses that have to have a duly executed written agreement with a North Carolina pro sports team, an approved golf course or racetrack, the PGA or NASCAR, before they can even apply for an online sports betting
Oh, that's
license.
even before an application.
Right.
Huh? Wow. Interesting.
It's Rule 2B-006. It explains that a written designation agreement shall state a clear contract term length, with any option to renew being contingent on the renewal of the sports betting wagering operator's license.
So they have to get this all hammered out
Yep.
even before they apply. There can't be some kind of intent letter that
No.
we're going to join. This
has
has
to be
to be a
hammered out.
formal agreement.
Yep.
Everything has to be worked out, and then they can apply
Right.
to be a sports
Right.
betting operator. Okay.
And
Wow.
if the contract terminates, they're in even deep doo-doo here.
Okay.
With regards to what's going on here. It's, regarding the cessation of a sports betting designation agreement, the operator has no more than 72 hours to report to the Lottery Commission of any of the following: any alterations, changes, or modifications to the agreement, any breach, discontinuance, or other cessation of the written designation agreement, and upon such a discontinuance or cessation, the sports wagering operator, I'm quoting here, shall engage in timely and complete efforts to wind up its operations and ensure payments and refunds are provided to interactive account holders.
Wow.
You have to go get a new one before you
Wow.
can keep your license. So that's going to be interesting to watch in North Carolina. They're probably going to have to alter that a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, look,
There's got to be a
you'll
little
want
bit more.
people to apply.
Yeah.
So, certainly they should jump through hoops because it's an important license, but it shouldn't be. The hoops should be a little bigger so they can maneuver, do business.
I think everyone may be okay with that part of it. It's the wait time. According to the rule, it's a 1-year wait time before you can reapply.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's to give you time to get a new agreement, too.
Yeah. Well,
So, but, we'll see what happens in North Carolina. They haven't launched yet. There's still time to hammer out all these rules. Over in Mississippi, Mississippi currently has limited online sports betting. You have to be on certain properties to do online sports betting. The Mississippi Mobile Sports Betting Task Force met for the first time.
oh, okay.
And they met with several stakeholders on the pros and cons of potential Mississippi online sports betting legalization in the next session in the coming year, the legislative session for 2024. People are interested. People are not interested. I mean, there's really no consensus one way or the other. The only thing they really agreed upon is that that online sports bettors and online casinos have to have an existing relationship with a Mississippi casino, and that no iGaming will be included in the fall. It may be down the road, but right now the
Okay.
initial thing is just online sports
Just
betting.
sports betting. No online casinos,
Right.
no online slots or anything
Right.
like that, right?
And we have one representative, Casey Ure, revealed at the conclusion of the meeting that he will be introducing a new online sports betting bill when the session begins on January 2nd, 2024. So we may finally see some statewide online sports betting legalization
Right.
methods moving forward in the state of Mississippi. And last note, don't know what's going on in Florida yet.
Who knows?
Everything's
I don't
on
know.
hold until this is all
the lawyers
resolved.
are working it out.
There are plenty of guys to follow out there. Daniel Wallach is one of them.
Yes.
You've got whole bunch of others to take a look at and follow along.
Jeff Ifra does some
Jeff
great
Ifra,
stuff.
yep. So there's a bunch of people out there. I'm actually going to wait until I see exactly whether it's some more concrete stuff going on.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
That's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Press releases, info at turnpikesportsradio.com. Keep them coming in. If you've been watching on TV, the ticker has been flying by with additional news stories we didn't have a chance to cover in this half hour. And also, as always, there will be a full print version, which includes even more stories released on our blog, turnpikesports.us. Click on the blog button. You will see a full written version of the Turnpike Sports Book Report for this past week up on the blog. And we'll see you next week with the Turnpike Sports Book Report here.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.